Merci. Hello, hello, hello. I hope it works. Oh my gosh, allergies. Yes, I can hear you. Hey, Susan, hi. Hello. How are you? All right, so today I'm pondering whether I try to do some cross stitch for the first time or if I work on some sketches. Oh, I'm glad, Susan. That's good. Yeah, long time no see. Hey, Dominic. Hey, Lena. Hi. Well, I might. It's either embroidery or sketching. Als je al bij te vallen. C'est tombé. J'ai des aiguilles, on va te passer les aiguilles. Tu peux mettre la pire. Salut Chiro. Ouais, t'es cute. Oh, oh, Dieu les minettes. Non. Non, Chiro est pas trop fight. Yeah, this is a needle minder. So it's a magnet. Magnets better than expected. Also somewhat more useful with sewing. I've never done this, so I'm not sure what I would need. I mean, I've looked online, but yeah. I have one more embroidery back. Oh. It's very windy today, so it literally flew off. I have 100% confidence in you and embroidery. I mean, eventually, yeah, but You know, I never got notification on today. Huh. YouTube is so buggy.
Tu fais la grosse tannante?
Je sais pas. Hein? Hold on.
Viens ici, toi.
There you go.
Miaou.
Meow, 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 meow. Queue d'en face. Otto! I love you, needle minder. It's very on point, isn't it? Arrête de... Of course. The most helpful cat. Tu vas, Scoot? Frot. Frot, frot, frot. Hey, box of paint! Oh my god, Scoot! I might try cross-stitching. Even if I have no idea what I'm doing, but you know. C'est quoi le plan là? C'est quoi le plan de merde? Bye. Okay, sorry. How bad is the... Oh my god. Elle a laissé tellement de poils. Pas de bon sens. Have you spoken about the crazy whip parades? Not yet, not yet. Just finished making a phonics pouch. Ooh! Even better if you made it yourself. Okay, so these sewing pouches are not the best, but they're okay. So I have this, I have this, I have scissors, I have some scraps of Ada. Okay, good, I didn't miss the hand. Alright, so what Otto is talking about, the whip parades, is something that is entirely Otto's fault. But, yeah, so Otto does a lot of cross-stitch. And eventually, YouTube started suggesting WIP, whip, work in progress parades, to Otto, and then she promptly sent it to me so that we could both really question our life, the reason of life. I don't know how to say it, but it's basically what it is other people who will go through all of their whips, work in progress, and it's a parade because they have like over 100 of them, which is absolutely bonkers. Like, to have 100 work in progress, it's like, dude, finish something, you know. And in cross stitch projects, okay. So like I said, I'm very new to this, but it's basically this form of artwork where you use thread, some sort of fabric, and you create a pattern using the thread and a specific stitch. And it's a bit like pixel art, you know, so every stitch you make in a color and it can create a design, or you know, all kinds of you can get all kinds of styles of patterns. And what is particularly weird with the people who end up with 100 or 150 is that they will have all of these projects and like they will start on one and do like 100 stitches. But the thing is these projects can run you up to like 100,000 of stitches, because it's like every completed stitch is like a pixel. It's a bit like knitting, you know. Knitting is an insane amount of stitches. It's kind of the same with cross stitch. And yeah, one of the projects one lady was working on had over 500,000 stitches. And she had put in, I think it was the one she had put in like 0.24%. It broke both Otto and my own brain, because we just couldn't fathom, like, the bigger projects, okay, fine, but some projects were relatively small. Like I said, I'm not familiar exactly with this. I'm going on my impression and what Otto has kindly enough taught me about this, but some projects are rather small, you know. They have a few hundred stitches. Oh yeah. And that on its own, it's not very big considering. Wait, Cheryl? Wait? Cheryl has opinions on this too. So it's technically a project that you could complete in like... Ouais? Ouais? T'as plein d'opinions? Cheryl has a lot of opinions on this. Oh, she wants to come in. My heart just melted. Aww. Hey, petit pou. Petit Chiro. Ouais, c'est l'heure de la sieste, bébé chat. Okay, hold on, let me catch up on oh, I've been annoyed at my current whip taking so many months, but feels like I shouldn't do other artsy stuff until I figure it out. Yeah, well, these people, they will on purpose start a bajillion projects. Like, they will go through events like, what was it, May Mania? Where you kind of start a new project every 2 days, Otto was telling me. And it's not, it does not depend on finishing the project before starting a new one, you know. So, like, they have hundreds of whips, and it's just, it's just, she will, every single project has its own project bag, which I think is kind of a good thing. Though every single project has its own needle minder too, which is kind of absurd. Like, at most you need 1 or 2 needle minders. Let's say you work on 2 projects at the same time, like switching from one to the other. But if you need a needle minder on a new project, you can just like detach the one and put it on the other one. Like, that's the whole point. Yeah, and no needles on them. Like, it's not about keeping the needle with the project because you use a specific needle, you know. Sorry, my allergies are really, really annoying me today, so I apologize if I sound weird. Hold on, let me catch up. Anything, 90% would have been frogged. I think crochet too. I've frogged so many half-finished projects in crochet that, yeah, that would be my take too. Ooh, grass. No, not grass. I hope it's the good kind of grass. I have a lot of opinions on grass. I love that box of paint. Beto. I think these whips are a sign of a creative mind. Love to start a project, and once the fun bit is done, the rest get dunked in a cupboard. Okay, but is it a whip or just a swatch? If it's... That was my question too. In my opinion, these don't count, because, like, if you have 30 minutes in on a project, that's nothing technically. My heart just melted. People like you, Shiro. she's right, isn't she? Aww. Way. Ow. Yawn. You could settle down and nap, baby. Ouais. Je sais que tu veux rentrer. Ouais. Mais c'est pas chez toi. Oh. Baby cat. Part of me really wants to let her in, but... Okay. I have plenty of half-baked drawing and ideas, but I don't think I would feel... It would feel rewarding to get partway through and ditch it for the next. This confuses me so much. They would take on these massive projects and only spend like a day on each. Sorry. I forgot one yesterday and it was almost finished. Baby jacket. Oh, I forgot about it and the baby's not a baby anymore. Oops. I could listen to a full audiobook of you chatting with Shiro. She has a lot of things to say. Or they would take on a tiny project but can't finish it, like the ones that won't even take a week to do. Yeah, definitely. And that's the weirdest part. And I haven't watched, well, we haven't watched because Otto and I are watching them like in semi-in sync, so we can sort of like react at the same time. And if I have questions, at least Otto has the context. But yeah, the thing is like the person will tell themselves, okay, on this, yeah, I'm going to the moldy fabrics just after. But the person has like 100 projects, and they will say something like, okay, for this one, my goal for this year, so for the whole year, was to get to 10%. So I've reached that. Now I'm shelving this until next year. And why? You don't like being shelved? You're so cute. Wait. Oh, cute skull, trop cute. Je suis en train de mourir. Your eyes are closing by themselves. Take a nap, baby. So yeah, I just like I've started projects and forgotten about them or set them aside. Like that's completely normal in my opinion. But to on purpose have it so these projects will take you like what, 10% this year, so you expect to finish this in 10 years. And one lady had started patterns that would go back to 1998. So that was what, 26 years ago? And like I have projects that I started as a kid and then forgot about. That's okay, that's a thing, but the thing is I kind of had long periods of time where I would forget about these. And then when I would remember, I'd be like, oh yeah, I have to finish this, and then forget again. You know, it was not like an ongoing thing of me trying to finish this project, but in 30 years, you know. And 30 years for something that is, you know, quite small. But if you get bored of working on a design after one session, do you even like the design or even the craft? That's I don't know. And yeah, to get to the moldy fabrics. So multi. That's not very nice, but it's kind of a good shorthand to get to the point straight away with those fabrics. Is that a lot of people, well, 2 out of 2, no, not true, 2 out of 3 people I've seen do cross stitch like to work on these hand-dyed fabrics, but they're not dried evenly. Like this is colored, but it's even, it's one color throughout, and you don't get any kind of effect. But they really like to use those hand-dyed fabrics, and since the fabrics are hand-dyed, they get a bit like that, a bit of variegation and tie-dye effect, and some of them, I'm sorry to say, but they kind of look like fabric that was in the garage for years and that water got to it, and now it's all weird and funky, not in a good way. So yeah, sometimes we would see like Otto and I would be like, oh, this is a, you know, like, oh, this is a okay design, like no opinions on this pattern. But then the person would take it out like what they have done, and they started it on a colored variegated backdrops and then use all kinds of colors on it, and it's just so much all at once. It's so over the top. You're like, this is already something that is a craft that is sort of, I don't want to say, it's not cluttered, it's not crowded, but since it's composed of all these little stitches, I feel like it's not doing a service to the craft to put in like variegated yarn on variegated fabrics and all sorts of colors. Like nothing stands out, nothing is, you know, put forward, if that makes sense. It's a bit like, you know, when you see a finished quilt and the whole blanket, the quilt has been quilted in a way that is very busy, and it's so busy with the quilting that you kind of lose the design of the quilt top in it. And I always get a bit like that's just, how can I say this? It's fine, but for me, I feel like I kind of struggle to see all the work that has gone into the design of the top when it's quilted so heavily, you know. I have a couple of unfinished quilts. The tops are done, but they need to get quilted. I would love to learn how to use a long arm, but there's none in my area. Yeah, same. I have like, to me, having quilt tops that are finished don't necessarily count as a whip, because I kind of feel like the top is a separate element. Like if you manage to finish the quilt top, you finished that whip. Now it's on to the next whip, which is to make it into a blanket, you know. But like if you start 25 quilt tops and finish none of them, it kind of misses the point of the design. Yeah, it's like self-strapping yarn on socks with the pattern. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's too much. What do you think, Cheryl? No opinions? No opinions. How can you tell how you've grown if nothing is done? I don't know. I don't, like, I understand that that's just how some people craft, and I'm okay with that whole notion. But when I try to put myself in their position and try to understand all the reasoning, it's a trip. It's really a trip. Getting things done can be a struggle for sure, but if you can't look back at your graph and see, it's just like, I wouldn't be able to look back and realize that I've done nothing. Okay, so I've never done this. Let me let me just, what was weird is that these people would gush about how much they love the design and how fun it is to work on it, even though one, they've only done like a tiny patch, and two, they will then not touch it again for years. And yeah, that was the really trippy part, because it's like oh, I really like this design, I really enjoy working on this, I can't wait to go back to it. And I'm like, well, just do it now. Well, it's just so weird. Sounds so detached from reality. Yeah, definitely. Speaking of detached from reality, let's go. Let's try this. Okay, Otto, don't look. I'm gonna try the loop stitch method, because it's kind of more beginner friendly. So what am I doing? Right over this way. All right. I'd be so anxious and stressed, surrounded by so many whips. That too, and like if it's not the idea of having so many projects that are started but not finished, I think I'd be stressed out too by the amount of space it occupies. Because you end up with those bins full of projects. Honestly, the loop start is fine. I just don't like how the thread then don't lie down properly. Yeah, well, I mean, I will definitely try the other method when I'm more familiar with it. Alright, so now what... Where am I? Where do I need to go? A little pom-pom rainbow. This is very timely in its, you know, of me like becoming aware that embroidery and cross stitch exist, because I had been looking for a kind of a craft that doesn't take up a lot of space. Did you go for right over left? Well, this is the base one, and then I'm gonna do the other one like that. So what's that? I don't know what it is. But I've read that you have to keep consistent in the way you do it, and that it's not that important how you do it as long as it's consistent. Right over left, the same way I do. Nice. And then you kind of have to, like, I was reading a tutorial that said to start at the middle, which kind of makes sense, you know, at least for beginning, because you kind of have no idea exactly what space it's going to occupy. So if you start in the middle and you get to one side and realize you don't have a lot of space, well, you don't have to frog as much as if you started in the corner. But like for starting, I'm not saying I will always do that, but that felt like a way to start that was not too overwhelming. So where do you get your cross stitch designs from? I think there's a lot of places you can get them from. Especially nowadays, I think you can find a lot of them online. Like on Etsy, all kinds of websites and blogs, and try getting used to not flipping your fabric from this slot. How am I supposed to know where I'm gonna go then? Like what, I need to just try to poke the hole properly from the back, but that's so hard to do. It'll be hard to come up. Yeah, I can see how that would save me so much time later on. Found it. But you have excellent and I do I. I mean, I'll get used to it, but all right. So hold on. Then these. Oh yeah, in that sense. All right, so. Nope. Nope. Found it. So yeah, Otto and I have been really confused by this is it's such a different approach to like everything, and like I don't know. Oh yeah, gridding. Well, I have a sample that has the grid threads like in it, so I'm looking forward to testing that. But I thought that for such a small thing, like this one is so tiny, I didn't think it was something to integrate right away. You can use a water-soluble pen or friction pen to mark it. Okay. You use Ada, right? Otto makes these like work of art, large cross-stitch pieces that are super impressive. Oh. I lost a thread. I'm gonna add a right over left stitch, then stitch start and finish. Oh, finish too. And start on bottom left of design. Huh. Why do you prefer bottom left? If there's a reason, there might not be. Faster for you. Okay, cool. If you do right over left stitches, let's go to the top of the stitch. That makes sense because you can do it just it and just okay. I mean, I figured that it's the kind of stuff that will make more sense as I get more familiar with it, because it's always like that. Like same with crochet or sewing. When you start, everything is so extra confusing. But then, as you get more familiar with it, you can notice the patterns and understand better how it works. I start at the bottom because when you're coming up the fabric, it means you are coming up on an empty hole. So a lot of times we can do it. Ah. So yeah, basically auto, how did you put it? That you I know it's not exactly the right word, but the expression was funny. It's that you PTSD'd me into learning cross stitch. Because as we were watching like the mountains of whips and all that, it just got so overwhelming. No, you get like this urge to fix it, but it's not for you to fix. It's not your thing, and that urge has to go somewhere. Whereas if you come up on a hole that already has thread, it takes so much more time to make sure you're coming up in a way where you're not splitting a thread. Whoa. Yeah. It totally makes sense, Otto. Alright, so that's these, just so I can keep track better of where I'm at. As long as you don't start hundreds of whips now, you're probably fine. I don't tend to do that. I must admit though that I have one cross stitch whip resting for 3 years now. Oh, 3 years, that's fine. That's nothing. There is a huge difference between one whip versus 150. But it's just, it's the excess of it, I think, that is really striking, because it's not one or two or three or I don't know 10 whips, it's 100, 150, and then every single of these 150 has its own project bag, and then every single project in a bag has its own needle minder. And you know, like it's just everything is extra. When it comes time to get an embroidery hoop, I recommend the Clover Free Stitch. I have a few like very basic hoops already, but yeah, I'll check it out for a. I think the frames is that the good thing with the frames is that they have a stand. I think it's not for cross stitch, but it grips the hell out of the fabric so much more than a stand. For oh, okay. Now let me finish this and I'll write it down. Ow. Crap, I took off my sketchbook. Ow. Getting it posted. Getting a shirt because it's windy and cold. Is it like yarn hoarding for knitters? I'm not entirely sure, because I mean, part of it definitely is, because I feel like these people, they also hoard all kinds of hand-dyed fabrics and hand-dyed threads, and you know, it's not just the projects, it's everything that goes in the projects too. It's got like this lip that the fabric folds over. Oh, okay. Check it out. It's more like hoarding yarn because they hoard threads. Yeah, exactly. Partly casting on and moving on to starting another projects. Threads, project bags, needle minders, special fabrics, special threads. I am using it's a double thread. Well, it's one thread but folded on itself. I think it's just a poor match of the Aida and the thread. Do I know? Yeah, I know what count is. It's a sample I got. It's 14 count Aida. Like, I'm fully aware that it might not be the best pairing, but I feel like this is a good way to use these samples I got. And for me to try things out. Like this one is 11 count, so I'm definitely gonna have to use something larger for this one. And this one I think is also 14. And this one is crap that I've had forever and I don't know what it is. It's gotta be 14 too, I think. Looks very similar. Perfect count? Oh yeah. Okay. 14 count should have 2 threads. So basically what I did, that's 2 threads, right? It's 1 folded in half, so that's 2. I really like 14 count Aida. It's much easier on the eye. I don't mind. Oh, okay. Cool. Because I was reading on it and I saw that 14 count Aida is the same as using, say, linen or an even weave that has 28 count. Because for Aida you basically divide it in half. Haha. I'm so not used to having needle minders that I always forget. 14 Aida is 28 even. Okay, cool. And I was thinking too that I have quite a lot of linen and fabric. So if I want to do like regular embroidery that is not cross stitch. I don't know if you guys can see the needle minder in the screen. Oh yeah, you can. It's the first time I'm using... This is wonderful. And I love it so much. I love this artist. This is a Canadian artist. Her name is Marla, and she has the marladra.etsy.com. And she has a really, really cute cat designs. And she only has 2 of her designs in needle minders, like the cat like this with the blood, and same design but with no blood, like it's just black and silver. And I'm like, please, please make needle minders of all your cats, even if they're all the same design. Because she has these designs for like pins and all of that, and she has all kinds of cat patterns. She even has a like a tortoise shell. It's the cat with the knife, but tortoise shell. And I'm like, oh, please, please make that a needle minder, please. Like, I'm gonna get all of them. Oh, I'm gonna turn into one of those whip ladies with the bajillion needle minders. No! So I came in between 2 threads. Is that like splitting the thread? It doesn't show anything on the front. I can see it in the back. As long as it doesn't show on the front, you're fine. Okay. I think since it's all black thread, I don't think it's going to show that much. But I can see how that could be an issue, especially between color changes. People get really OCD about how tidy the back should be, and I'm like, come on, who goes around looking at the back of cross stitches? Especially if you frame it. Like, if you frame it, not saying that I'm going to frame everything, but I know a lot of people frame cross stitch, so how you won't even see the back. It's going to be like the cardboard or a wooden backing. If you do, you need to go touch more grass. You need to spend more time on your whips and less time being bothered about someone else's work. I can totally understand like trying to limit the distance you perform with the thread on the back, because yeah, I can see how it would pull on the fabric and make it... How are you planning to secure? I have no idea, I didn't look that up, so I'm probably gonna left it hanging and secure it. No, I did look it up. Hold on. The one that I was looking up, the person would just have the thread go back. I think I'm gonna have to cut this one soon, but they would simply like have it go under the stitches in the back for like 3 or 4 stitches and then cut it. And part of me is really like, that kind of stressed me out, because I was like, but it's not going to be secure, is it? But does it stay put nicely? No, I saw a video of pin stitch, and I'm fine with it, because when the person was like pulling on the thread, it didn't move. You basically make a knot with the thread. Hold on.
Burn press or board press?
Burn press. So yeah, like the way the thread goes in and out of the Ada with the pin stitch, you kind of make a knot without making a knot. What I do with the method is to go back on myself. So instead of okay, so you go back through the stitches you just made. So go under a few stitches, then double. Oh. Ah. So you basically do a couple of stitches, pull it, and then do the same stitches again. Is that it? C'est couché?
Son cratère.
Il est pas pire son cratère, hein? Hold on. So, let me get back to the back. Okay, let's ignore these two here. Like, let's say I would come out from here. I would go through these two, like this, and then I would like drag it out, and then I go back and I do the same again, or then I get it. No. First go through a few stitches. Okay, okay. So 3 or 4. So you go under stitches 1 to 5 first. Your thread should be anchored on stitch 5. Oh, I think I see. I wonder if you guys all went to get some to get some work in progresses out to work on. I don't really have like 5 stitches to work on here, so I have 3. So basically, do you go, hold on, let me try to, wow, this is, it's much more difficult than I thought to pick stitches up from behind. Maybe it's because my needle is fat. Let's are whips. I have a quilt that I need to finish. I have this that I just started. A bunch of drawings. A crochet blanket. I have a good pile of quilt tops that I need to make into blankets eventually. I was tempted to get that cross stitch one out, but I'm crocheting instead. Currently have 3, 1 cross stitch and 2 quilts. And once you get used to pin stitch, it's so much easier than this method. However, this is a great way to start and finish for a beginner, and I did it for years. Years with massive breaks in between. 1 cross stitch, 1 crochet, 2 knits, and 1 painting. Ooh. Okay, hold on, let me... I feel like it would be much easier if I had a smaller needle, because I literally can't push this one through. I tend to only have 1 quilt project at a time, but I have Jinx staying at the moment and I can't work on the quilt I'm making for my mum, so I've got the scrap buster one on the go. Jinx is fine, she's only here for a long weekend. Oh, she's gonna be so sad to go. Oh my god, she put me in my armpit. Why in the armpit though? Okay, so let's say I pull this through. Hold on. Oh no, it's not in this bag. Fudge. Ah, alright. So, and then you go back just on the last one to anchor it. Is that it? I am using a Clover embroidery needle. I don't know what size, but it's this one. No, stop. I didn't pull it through. I was waiting to see. See, it's not. Whoop! Oh, nothing happened. That's all good. Hubby shaved his beard this week because he was tired of Bear pulling it at 5:30 a.m. to try stuff. And if it works, it's routine. Hold on, what? Well, a 3 because that's all I have on this line of stitches. Well, 2 actually, but it's 3 threads. So has Bear found other ways to get you up at 5:30 to probably get him some food, right? You can always do this finish on other lines. Yeah, I did try to do it on a line that was further down with more stitches, but I couldn't get the needle through. Maybe I need a smaller needle. Yeah, I don't really need a needle that big, actually. Let's number of stitches you've got under stitches 1, 2, and 3 in the range. Okay. Now turn the needle to face the opposite way to how it went through. Okay, so let me get a needle back on these and only go back 3 stitches. Always want to skip one stitch so that oh, okay, hold on. All right, okay, so 1 2 3. Thread a needle to face. Oh, I see. Okay, so you go back. Well, you try to anyway. Back like this, right? I am not. Stitch 3 is under here. Ow. That was my finger. Okay, so now I can pull this. No, it is hard to see. It's hard to see for me, and the more you know. Okay, now I snip this, right? Haha. Totally unrelated question, but how do you store your new colors if you have them? I like seeing mine in the box, but then they're not as easy to grab and take up a lot. They do take up a lot of desk space. Okay, so that's it. Like you have, let's say you have 1 2 3 4 stitches. You go under, whoop. Let's see, like you go under all 4. And then you kind of go over the last one and you go back under the 3, right? Okay, cool. Got it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Makes a lot of sense, but... So, new colors. I don't have... when I had new colors, I didn't have that many of them. How big is your set of new colors, Susan? Just like sewing in yarn ends, if you double back your threads. Ah. Well, I don't really knit. And with crochet, it's kind of hard to unravel crochet when you pull the thread through it. You know what I mean? Like if you keep it in the loop, it's really easy to unravel. But if you sort of pull the loop out, it's not gonna unravel on its own. Oh, okay, you mean just the ends. Oh, so they don't poke out. Ah. I've always mostly done like 3D shapes with crochet, like, you know, animals and whatnot. So for these, when you have yarn ends, you just pull them through the middle of the stuffing. and there's really like it doesn't matter. It's not gonna come back out, and it's no matter if it's unsightly. But like I've never really had to do it for flat objects, if that makes sense. Yeah, just crochet. Yeah, that's kind of easier to do with crochet. I really like crochet. I like that you can fumble it completely and it's not gonna unravel. Probably, I'd probably be a lot more at ease with knitting if I knew how to rescue dropped stitches. And I know you can learn how to do that, but I'm just, like, there's no need for it right now. When I found this little cat pattern on Pinterest, and you know how Pinterest is set up that you can post comments and like they consider every photo as if it was a project you could do, and then you can say I've done this and post a photo of it. But like in this case it is kind of a project, but it also does that with like illustrations and whatnot. And someone posted their photo of this little cat that they did, but they got the layout wrong, and I was like, was that on purpose or I don't. Kind of broke my brain for a second. I have the bigger set of the new color 1 and 2, so a lot. I use them in an A3 sketch. Ooh, that's a lot of big things. 5 line wells, and I love the unfinished look of the pages. I'm trying to think how you could store them in a way. Do you think they might be good to use? And you know those acrylic storage things you can get for lipsticks? It's kind of like a bunch of oh, I have one. Let me go get it. That will be easier.
Es-tu bébé? Je vais pas aujourd'hui. Ça?
Je vais te demander si je t'ai baisé.
Non, j'ai dit ça a-tu fait des pipes?
Ah non.
Ok.
That's what it's supposed. Okay, so it's like this thing. And I wonder if you could take them out of the box and put like 4 or 5 per square, and you'd be able to see what color they are by the, you know, the either the butt end, or if you want to have them with the tip first. But that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times 3. That's 24. So 24, and if you can put 4 each, that's about, it's 96 of them in this. And then you could possibly have a second one to put the rest, and they would take less space than the boxes, I think. I don't know if that makes sense. How high is the box? It's not very big. I think if you have like the longer ones would be fine in there, but let me see if I can find a ruler. Lovely. So mind you, it's quite there's a thickness to it too, so keep that in mind for the measurements. But the whole thing is about almost 8.5 inches. Do you want the inches or the centimeters? About 22 centimeters, and the depth of the back row is about 43 millimeters. And the front ones are quite shallow, so you could have the stubby ends in there. This is just about 22 millimeters. And it's acrylic, so if it ever gets messy, you can just, you know, shove it in water and rinse it out. I am enjoying it quite a lot, to be honest. At this point, maybe I had no expectations, so I think it's more fun than my inexistent expectations. But I'll really have to see with a more complex pattern, because my worry is that I'll struggle to keep up with the more complex patterns. Not that I have to go for those. I could, you know, stay with the simple stuff. But I'm also like realizing that I got no idea like what's... I'm going back to the whip parades and it's breaking my brain now. I find multicolored ones stressful. I think, like, I totally get it. It's definitely an extra concern. The cat ones that I've sent to you, like the tuxedo cats, I think these would be good because, if I remember right, they're not too... They're colorful, but they're not too colorful. You know, they have maybe, what, 6, 8 colors? And it's in separate elements, like the cat is going to be 2 colors, and then the flowers are going to be 2 colors, and then this other element separately is going to be another color, you know. Yeah, but you know me. Oh yeah, I mean, you found the right projects for you. I know I don't have that kind of focus, so if I wanted to try, I'd probably have to do like, look at the whole drawing and then find the patch that interests me the most and just do a patch of it. On purpose, not like my plan is to do the whole thing and I do just a bit and then drop it. Like to go in it with the intent of only doing part of it. Because the designs are really lovely. They do make smaller ones. Not that small, you know. At the moment, I feel like I'm you know, crocheting my first like egg bunny project, and you're mentioning like that they're making, you know, they make crochet sweaters that are not too complex, and I'm like, ooh, hold on. Ginger! Hello! How are you? How is Didi doing? They're not in the sampler section on the website. Oh, I'll have to check it out then. I went back and got the that free Palestine pattern because I quite like the look of it, and it's free, so I figured I would grab it while it's available and then maybe one day do it. I'll message you later. Oh, thank you so much. I am learning cross stitch because of Otto. Didi's mostly good. She got her kibbles back. Is the kibbles like her favorite things? With the word kibble, I always think of that ad that went kibbles and bits and bits and bits, kibbles and bits. I traumatized Evan to try. It went straight like an arrow through this problem-solving part of my brain that couldn't fathom starting so many projects and finishing none of them. And I was like, how can I fix this? How can I make this situation better? Oh yes, she loves kibble. I had to put it in a coffee ground. Oh, poor baby. Her disdain was palpable. She likes the crunch. I think this is a better size of needle too. TLDR, we watched cross-stitch whips parade where some people had 100 or and even 150 works in progress. This traumatized Evan to doing cross-stitch whip, basically. It was everything, to be honest. It was the weird backing fabrics and the weird colors on top of it and the weird projects that didn't vibe with me. Like, it was a whole package. Jinx just woke up. She says, hi, Jinx. Baby Jinx, baby Jinx. She is the best baby Jinx. It is very odd and kind of unsettling in a way, Ginger. Hey, Cyan! Hi! Tell about the moldy fabric. Okay, so the thing with the fabric, I just said that they have weird variegated fabric, but what it is a lot of people seem to like to get Aida like this. This Aida is basically like a very visible weave fabric. So it's perfect for cross stitch, but it's also cotton, so you can hand dye this stuff. And a lot of people will, a lot of crafters will either hand dye Aida or even weave fabric. So that's fabric that has an even weave, so you can do what's it called? Is it called numbered patterns with it? Anyway, and again, some people like to hand dye these fabrics, but they do it in a way that makes for a very kind of blotchy, variegated look of colors. And sometimes the colors are really more unfortunate than others. And overall, the blotchiness kind of looks like very old fabric that was in the garage for years. And that water got to it, you know. Hence the moldy fabrics. And sometimes the colors are a bit more forgiving, but sometimes the selection of color to dye the fabric really makes it look moldy. And it's just, you have this this variation in the color of the base fabric. And then you have, they like to use hand-dyed threads on top, so variegated threads on top of variegated fabric. And then sometimes they comment stuff like, oh, the colors really didn't work for me when I tried following the color pattern. And you're like, yeah, but the color pattern is intended to be done on like a neutral color background, like either white or maybe off-white, you know. Something neutral, not blotchy green, you know. Then you have specialty hand-dyed thread. Yeah, I didn't know it was a thing either. And it's just too much. It's basically like a very big pizza feel to the whole thing, you know. It's like there's too much of everything. it's too much color in the background, there's too much colors in the threads, there's too much, everything is too much. And yeah, we sort of got to the consensus that all these variables added into the projects, they kind of take away a lot from what makes cross stitch fun to look at. Like, it kind of gets lost in the sauce because, like, it's just a big old, in my opinion, mess. It's not well balanced, in my opinion, of course. Like, these people, obviously, that's their jam, that's what they enjoy, perfectly fine. But I feel like it's a balance act. Let's say you find a variegated fabric, like a blotchy. I say blotchy because that's the most apt descriptive I have, but I don't necessarily mean it in a bad way. Like, it is kind of blotchy, you know, a bit like when you use those super granulating colors from Schminke, and you make kind of a messy flat wash and it dries all blotchy on purpose, you know. That's kind of the vibe. And I feel like if someone was to go for that kind of fabric, I know I would personally try to go with a monochromatic pattern on it and use a very neutral color. So depending on the strength of the color of the fabric, I would either go like for a project that is all in black thread, or all in dark color thread, like one color, or if it's a darker fabric, like a lighter color, and have, you know, the colors from the background fabric be the only color variation really in there, so it's not overwhelming. That would be my approach to it if I were to try doing that. But yeah, like, there was one Ada I remember we saw that was striped. It was like as if, you know, this one is a grid. Well, picture that every column, like this one would be a color, this would be color A, color B, color A, color B, color A, color B. And then the person did a project on it with a color changing thread. And it's a lot. It's a lot. It's like, where am I supposed to look now? You can get so lost into the colors of the background or the colors of the thread that you don't see the pattern. I have 3 color changing embroidery threads that I use for book binding. Makes cute pattern on the spine. Sorry. If I have multicolored yarn in projects, I'll try to balance it out with solid color. Exactly! It is a balance thing. You know, it's a bit like when you have illustrations. If an illustration is very, very detailed, you're often served better by having a color application that is simpler. Like, you don't start necessarily rendering everything super precisely if you want the complexity of the illustration, the line work to pop out, you know. And if you have something that's a, you know, I don't know, maybe it doesn't apply as well in illustration. But either way. So yeah, it's kind of a, I guess we found kind of the craftsy kind of, you know, sort of mesmerizing train wreck, cannot watch away reality TV for us more. Because, like, I don't care about reality TV that's about so and so sleeping with, I don't care. But watching so many things that are so the opposite of what I would do in the same situation is just hypnotizing. It's like cross stitch 90 Day Fiancé, train wreck in slow-mo. Oh, and one lady had the most Otto taught me a new word for this. The word is twee, Twee, and I had never heard that before. But it would be if you took the same kind of energy you have from Live, Laugh, Love, but make it like more grandma, and even that grandma from 30 years ago. That was kind of the vibe, you know. And it's just definitely like I can't with things that tell me how to feel. Notably, Lululemon, a company that I don't really like, but they had the most obnoxious reusable bag, and you would see it everywhere because all the yoga girlies would get stuff from Lululemon and then reuse the bag for their lunches or whatever. And it's basically covered in things like drink water, blah blah blah, do this, do that, and I can't with that. Same with like Live, Laugh, Love. For me, it's Live, Laugh, Love, F you. Like I just can't. It's a visceral response that I just get super annoyed. So there was a lot of cross stitch projects with that kind of I'm gonna like invent one on the spot. Just it doesn't make sense, but like a failure is a missed opportunity or whatever. You know, that kind of like saying and things that just I can't with this stuff. It drives me up the wall. And like half the projects were something like that. I would take projects with terrible puns over projects with like life advice. A lot of you are a lot of you are close to my age, so perhaps this will ring a bell, but if you remember back in the 90s, Radiohead put out an album that was titled OK Computer. And there is a sort of a song on there. It's not really sung, but it has spoken lyrics in a way. And the song, I think if I remember right, is the one they called Fitter, Happier. And it's basically a list of like that kind of quotes and wellness and like how to live better kind of sentences, stuff like fitter, happier, more productive, sleep better, like eat well, all that kind of stuff. But it's over a song that makes it very dystopian kind of. But yeah, it's always the energy of like that, like just those I don't know, you know what I mean. I'm losing it, but fitter, happier, more comfortable, not drinking too much, regular exercise at the gym, not drinking too much. Anyway, yeah, that one. I knew Box Up would get it. We must have grown up listening to the same kind of music. But yeah, it always brings me back because it's spoken by Marvin. From what? From Hitchhiker's Guide? I never read Hitchhiker's Guide. Probably should. Gives me a good, slightly frowned upon. Give me a good, slightly frowned upon quote every time. Oh yeah, no regrets. That's fine. That's silly. Or you know, sometimes you have these, like cross stitch is a good example, but it's gonna be like a very cute, flowery, like crown thing, and in the middle it's gonna say something like "F you." Like all with super nice type and all that, you know. That's kind of my energy. Yeah, twee. To go back to twee. Anyway. There is some huge water bottle trend here and I hate them. How there is that annoying positive message. Yeah, exactly. They're honestly some of the most fun to read. I got no reason why I haven't read it. I feel like I should. Even better is No Regrets in Comic Sans. I think I'm gonna write that down. It feels like it could be a future cross-stitch project. She don't miss cross-stitch profanities. She's like the comics. Yeah, exactly. That's the vibe. Like there's a. It's not cross-stitch. It's just embroidery. Well, just embroidery, but it's embroidery, and it's a local company. But they do like they have these projects that are basically the same kind of thing, where it's a loop, and you get a kit, and the pattern is like flowers and leaves, and in the middle it's gonna say something like "I'm so tired," like stuff like that. In Canadian French, but still, you know, like this is hard, you know, stuff like that. That's super relatable, but presented in the same kind of like trendy, twee kind of way. We work in an office and water bottles have always been a necessity, but when we go back home, it's insanity. In the US, you mean? Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't get Stanley Cups. Someone, it's just a trend. It's just a trend. I don't get Stanley Cups. Someone explain it to me. Yeah, I really don't know. And apparently some of them have lead in them. Which is kind of funny. I'm not paying £75 to keep my water cold when I can get something for a fiver that does the same job, and I don't need 12 gallons of water with me at all times. Okay, full disclaimer, I have a huge water bottle that is metal. It's not Stanley, it's not Hydro Flask. It's a company called Mir, M-I-I-R, and it says made responsibly in China. And the reason I got that is that I tend to forget to drink water. I want it to be a closed bottle so I don't spill it. And I like it when the water doesn't get cold and also when the container doesn't get all sweaty. But it's the kind of purchase you make once and then you have it for a really long time. I don't really consider that a trend, personally. What I don't get about the water bottles trend is that they tend to get so many in all the colors and exchange them for other brands. It's all down to marketing and influencer. Yeah, people see their favorite influencer, like the people who shall not be named. And they take these Stanley Cups out to have in their cars or whatnot. It's not like they're going like very far. And I think like these are handy, but also they're quite heavy, so I'm not sure they're the best for hiking. Hiking sure, but it's good to have breaks and get a refill. But my coffee cup is, dude, that's too small. That's not even 16 ounces. What? What? Oh. Gotta pay attention because I'm going in. I didn't pay attention too well to what I was doing, so how do I do this? I don't know if Stanley Cups are watertight. Yeah, exactly, Lana. Like for hiking, you're almost better off with the big plastic bottle. It's not heavy, it won't break, And I mean, the water is not going to be very cold, but that's okay. Stanleys are heavy and have lead. Yeah, like, can you throw them into bags? I don't think you can throw, like, they have a, do they have a straw, like a plastic straw at the top, so you can't really tilt that. I just meant having a lot of water when hiking, not lugging one of those stupid cups. More often than not, when you get into the stuff for hiking, you get closer and closer to those plastic bags that are like a water bottle, because they are lightweight. You can roll them up when you're done. They don't take a lot of space in your bag, and they're really handy. Part of it started when a woman's car caught fire. It burned to a crisp, but the Stanley Cup still had her ice drink with ice cube in it. Stanley gave her a replacement bottle and a replacement car. Dude, I don't know who was working marketing at Stanley, but give that guy a raise. Or not, but they saw a good opportunity when there was one. Room temperature water is better for you when you're hot because your body doesn't have to warm it up to make use of it. I get hiccups if I drink too cold water in hot weather. I use the bags for water. Was a bit anxious of cleaning them. I don't think it's that much of an issue if you only put water in it. Oh, the marketing guy for Stanley is the marketing guy that brought back Crocs. Okay. And they got an influencer lady onto their marketing teams, and it shows. It does. Wow. If you go hiking and don't like warm water, put a bit of lemon juice in the water. That makes the water refreshing even if it's warm. Huh. Okay, Otto, I don't know if you'll be able to see. Okay, this is where I'm at. Okay, I need to do the ear. But my thread is in the back, like in the middle, and I need to go here to make my stitch. Like, I need to skip this one. Nothing here and then one here. And I don't know how I should travel my thread in the back. Crocs may be ugly, but I stand by them as some of the most comfy shoes. That's okay. So there's going to be a diagonal thread in the back. That's okay. I wonder if it would show. It might. Hold on, let's see. Oh, no, it doesn't. Huh. Okay, cool. Nice. I'm okay with skipping up to 2. Oh, okay. Okay. I've tried Crocs, and I wear like bootleg Crocs to go outside in the summer, just here, like to put the trash out or pick up the mail. But if I try to wear Crocs, like slippers or something, they hurt my shins for some weird reason. If I wear shoes that are too wide, it hurts my shins. I don't know. On the long distance hikes, I refilled the bottles at public drinking water fountains. So maybe it made me extra anxious. Oh, maybe. I think if you get home and you like fill up the plastic bags that are like bottles with hot water, soap, and you shake them well, you could even have some sometimes you can clean stuff, like if you, let's say you put a teaspoon of rice in there with the water and you just shake this around, the rice is gonna like scratch. Not scratch permanently, but it's gonna have a bit more friction on the surface, and you can possibly clean it up too that way. Make the thread travel diagonally on the back when skipping. Oh. Hold on. I see. Hold on. I want to try something. Crap. For my plain jars, I put baking soda in the bottom with a little water to scramble them out. Yeah, the rice thing is something I've heard for, you know, carafes, like crystal or glass carafes, the big fancy bottles that you put wine in. I don't know. A lot of people have them like as a decorative thing, and sometimes dust get in there, and you can't really. You know, it has a really small neck, so you can't really get any implement in there to clean it, and you don't want to have something too hard either because I think it could scratch it. So that's when people like to use rice and water to gently scrub inside. And the thing is with rice is you can compost it after, so not exactly wasteful-ish. So if you have to go really far but you already go stitches along the way, you can also just thread. Yeah, that's what I would do. I did that a lot with sashiko. When I wanted to, let's say, get somewhere else with thread or whatever, I would just like, instead of having a long loose thread in the back, I would attach it to, like, just not attach it, but I would have it go through the loops in the back to kind of walk it back to where I wanted. We never have spare rice. But we'll try that with some of our vases that have been difficult. I got a brush thing for jars that works nicely. That's good. Or sometimes the kind of brushes that people use to clean up baby bottles. Okay, hold on. So what I want to do is nope. Nope. Aha, I found it. It's kind of silly because the thread is going to have to travel anyway in the back. So I might just revert to what I had done first. Jinx is curled up to her favorite cushion, my husband. Is she doing the little bunny paws? Snoring away. Aww. Such a good kitty. I wonder if she will grace us with a new meme photo when she eventually goes back. Not yet. Give her about half an hour of snoozing and she will bunny arm. Aww. I love the bunny arms so much. Look at her face. I feel so bad for her. Oh. Oh no, we did some work on the pond thing today and installed a light, and while everything was still, Emmy finally noticed there are things living behind that strange wall. Uh-oh. So for background info, last time Jinx was here, she ended up staying for a month. When she went home, our owners sent me a photo of her to show me how well she's settled back in. Trust me, oh my god, it was the most depressed looking cat I've ever seen, and I can attest to that. I have called it the perfect name. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Yeah, exactly. And like, for a full month, Otto sent me photos of Jinx looking so content and so happy and like basking in the sun and like super like calm and happy and doing well. And then the first photo Otto gets from when she's back home, she looks so what's the word I'm looking for? It's not resolved. It's... what's the word? But like so kind of sadly accepting our new situation. And it was so sad. It was so sad. Like the contrast of her being all cozy and happy and in the sun and like Lily, this is awesome, I like this, I'm a happy cat, to this like grudgingly anyway, if I could think of the word I'm trying to find, it would really help, but brain is really not helping right now. What disturbs me is that they didn't send me this photo to show how upset she was to be back home. They thought it was a photo of her being happy to be home. What do they think her sad face is? Well, I mean, they probably think they've never seen her sad. I'm only a few years into being a cat owner, but I can tell when mine are having a good time and when they are not. Yeah, same with my cats. Even Scout, which is probably the cat with the most confusing facial expressions. Like, once you know them, you can really tell. And sometimes that's really funny because I share photos of her, and people who don't know her will not get the same impression from her face, you know. And it's always funny because they'll be like, oh, she looks so sad. And I'm like, no, this is her weirdly happy, content face, you know. And you'd think that the owners of a cat would be able to figure that out, but maybe not. Maybe not. And they had chicks for a long time now, 2-3 years. Yeah, I can read Ruka's face really well, but Livy I cannot. I think in Livy, Levi. Do you say Levi or Livy or Livy? It is the merle pattern. Yeah, like I've never had dogs, and I find it really hard to read a dog's expression. Just not as familiar with it at all. Jinx is a quiet cat that likes quiet and routine. Let's say our owners are pretty much the very opposite of those things. And also, I mean, they don't seem to be willing to acknowledge or even make the effort of you know, like getting used to what their cat's personality is. Loud, their schedule is all over the place, chaotic, strangers keep coming in and out. Ugh. Windy. It is windy. Jinx hates her owner's best friend. Like, hates. That's so funny. How does that manifest? I want to know. Oh, it's 4 p.m. already. Huh. They also interact with her all wrong. We've told them how she prefers to be interacted with, but they ignore it. There's quite a significant number of cat owners, sadly, that are completely unaware that it is best to let cats be cats. And to watch them go and then to follow their lead, you know. A lot of people assume that, like, oh, if they want to pick up the cat to pet it, the cat is going to be fine with it. Always. But it's not always the case. Well, the best friend is very loud and she makes her owner even louder. Also, when she comes over, she stays in the bed and pillowed that. Aww. Yeah, that sucks. They have boundaries too, and if you can't respect them, go home. Exactly. That's very nicely put. And I mean, people do the same with dogs. Like, I know quite a few stories of people that not like stupid people that were bit by dogs because they completely didn't respect anything the dog or the owner tried to get across to them. You know, like, oh, it's a protective dog, the dog is growling at the plumber, and the owner of the dog is like, Mr. Plumber, my dog really doesn't like strangers. And Mr. Plumber is like, don't worry, I like dogs. Dogs like me. And then they proceed to manhandle the dog, and then the dog bites them. And every responsible pet owner is not surprised at this outcome. Jinx is very good at showing you what she does and doesn't like. Also, they've been trying to get us to adopt Jinx, even though we are not in a situation to have a cat. Yeah, they really have issues with respecting, with respect in general, right? Like, they don't respect Jinx, they don't respect your situation. Carl has his tail dislocated by a kid, ugh, and he didn't like anyone going near his back half for years, and people would insist on trying to scratch above his tail. Ugh. And like, you tell them, like, no, don't. I try to do the same with cats. Like, I try to, when I can sense that people are maybe not used to how to approach a cat, and I try really hard to, like, I'm like, okay, though, you gotta approach slowly, and you gotta let, it's mostly Scout, but you gotta let her, like, take the time to smell your hand, and only when she stopped smelling your hand, you can try to, like, approach her head to pet her gently. But yeah, a lot of times people just don't really do any of that, and then Scout hisses at them, and I'm like, eh. I tell everyone to ignore Dante as he needs time to see that strangers aren't dangerous. Yeah, he's gonna be the one to make the approach when he's ready. Just because Jinx will lash out at them and not us, you know, because they keep interacting with her in very wrong ways. Poor baby. It's gotta be stressful for Jinx. I'm glad she gets these vacations with you. And eventually just told people, you try and he bites you, you were warned by me and him. Yeah, exactly. Dude. People think they know your pet better than you. Yeah, and people think all dogs are the same. Like, yeah, Mr. Plumber, perhaps the dog you had as a kid was like really, really friendly and you could do everything you wanted with the dog. But that's not that dog. That's a different dog that doesn't know you. Although I do know Jinx better than... Yeah, you do. Unfortunately, you do. I mean, not for her. She enjoys it, but it's kind of a weird situation. Oh yes, people often respect Ruka, his larger dog. But poor Livy... Oh, hold on. Did you tell me how to say... I tend to see it in French, like Livy, but anyway... Poor Levy is smaller, and often people will just approach him too quickly and ignore his small keep. Yeah, exactly. This is so annoying. My mother-in-law's cats are lovely, but I to this day have never approached them. I let them come to me, and it took a few years, but we're besties now. Aww. Some strangers are just horrible to like trying to feed them. Oh my god. A lady pushed a treat into Dante's mouth once when he didn't want to take it and told her not to give him anything. She said, it's a good one. I would be so annoyed. I would be so angry. He had a tummy ache for 3 weeks. Oh. 3 weeks. I would have had a 5. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you, Cyan. I always say to people, try to think of the petting from his perspective. A big thing coming straight to your head. What would you do? Exactly. That's a very good point. Like a big hand coming towards you. And not all animals associate hands with good stuff too, so you never know what you're getting into. You gotta be super careful. But yeah, then again, I think we could probably each of us name so many people who are unable to read pets, not necessarily even properly, just at all, you know. Okay, so I know that in the future I need to start same way Otto does, bottom left, because this is getting weird now. Like, where do I go now? Gonna have to what, where, how, come on, no. Oh, come on. Oh, I hate these knots. Find the one that works for you. Yeah, that's a good thing with starting in the middle. You kind of try all the directions. But yeah, this is kind of weird. I remember, like, my mom tried to get an adult cat after her. She had a cat for, like, I don't know, a really long time, and eventually the cat passed because they don't live forever, sadly. And then she decided she wanted a new cat, but she didn't want kittens, so she got an adult cat. And the cat, you know, hid under a couch. And the cat wouldn't come out from under the couch. And instead of just letting the cat acclimate and, you know, come out when they're ready, she eventually went in to reach him, to pull him out. And I was like, Mom, you can't do that. Just give him time. And eventually she returned the cat because suddenly she was allergic to cats. And I was just like, oh, this is... Oh. Yeah, animals are not toys, and usually when you get a pet, like you kind of entered this contract that you will provide them with what they need, but ultimately they sort of call the shots, right? Like, you get an animal as much for the fact that it's going to be present in your life, but also because it gives the animal an opportunity to have a good life, but they get to decide on what terms somewhat. Does that make sense? And also, you gotta give them time. Like, they were in a you know, in a, not a pet shop as a pet meal kind of thing, but some pet supply shops here will have rescue pets that they try to, you know, find homes for. And I think that was his case. So yeah, you just let the poor guy settle in. It might take a week before he comes out, but who did you get the cat for? Did you get the cat just for you? Anyway, that was really annoying. I wasn't very happy with her that time. Oh shit. Poil de chat.
Je mets ça à quoi?
Il y a un burn press, je pense.
Pour le sèche?
Ouais. C'est quoi déjà? Ben là, regular dry, je pense. I think most of the training is us communicating. You only know sign full of tricks, but yeah, hold on. Had to pull Dante carefully out of dangerous situation, but he trusts me more now. When he's afraid, he asks where to hide best. Oh, and hides where I'm closest. Oh, poor kiddo. He's such a good boy. He's a really good example of a pet that needs a quiet home and people who will listen to him and let him, you know, call the shots. Well, I mean, okay. I'm gonna end the stream here. I'm definitely gonna keep working on this. Not that it's a no. This is gonna be my whip number 1. So I'm gonna you know, leave my needle minder on there and not have the needle though. Put it in a bag with this and the thread, and then forget about it for 20 years. No, I'm not gonna do that. I could never. That would be so stupid. It would be so annoying. The only reason to do that would be if I didn't enjoy it, but I enjoy it, so I'm gonna finish it. It's a teeny tiny thing. What percentage done? Oh, damn, good question. I don't have a tracker. But roughly, I'd say 36.24% done. Yep. Yeah, they do. They go into so many decimal points, and it's like there's no awareness that you don't need to get that far into it. You can just say like, oh, it's roughly 24% done. You know, you don't have to say 23.734. Anyway. Well, yeah, so thank you so much, guys, for you know, being here today and watching me struggle but slowly figure it out with cross stitch. It was a lot of fun. Thank you so much, Otto, for your help too. I really, really appreciate it. And oh wait, oh, I might be able to do a stream next week. Yeah, I think it should be fine. Yay! So stream next week, same time, same place. And I hope you guys have a great week and nice weather. And yep, see y'all in the next one. Bye bye. Whip parade next week.